So no matter what community it is, find one that resonates with you and try to be a part of it and try to be consistent in that. And you'll see your investment mindset, and then you'll also see just your assets move way better, way smoother, way quicker, and then you're gonna have a lot more confidence as well. Hello everyone. Well, we're excited to bring you guys some updates from where we were this past weekend. We were in Cape Canaveral. We were at the Quantum Financial Summit, and we got the privilege to speak at the Quantum Financial Summit in Cape Canaveral. So there were amazing people there. I think what was the capacity? Like 300 people, and the event was sold out.
Yeah, oversold. I think they opened up a few extra chairs for some people. It was exciting.
Yeah. So we had a great time. We were only able to make it 2 out of the 3 days because we had another event on the third day as we were coming back. So we've been traveling quite a bit, and we knew we wanted to make it out there. There were some awesome individuals out there, and it was just a privilege to be able to speak and meet everyone that was there. And so we want to just give you guys some insights on what the top crypto individuals came to speak about, what we're seeing right now in this space, what people are needing the most. And if you're even watching this, you're in crypto and you're saying, do I have a blind spot somewhere? Well, it's probably similar to someone else's blind spot as well. And we were able to evaluate and truly see, okay, where are people at? Where are they really strong? What are they really strong in when it comes to investing? And then what are some of the weaknesses, the common weaknesses we're seeing that can be easily fixed, but maybe people just don't know how to implement it, or even if they should. So let's go a little bit over that, Kin. I'm going to go ahead and have Kinley run through a couple of the practicals because she's very, very good at explaining this clearly, concisely. But I'll go ahead and start with some of the things we saw. So as we were there, shout out to Mel. He's amazing. If you guys don't follow him, he's an awesome individual. He ran the whole event. And what I really, really, really like about this event is that it's not just finances and crypto and innovation. It's also about health and wellness and mindset. So we really say without health, what really is your wealth? But even if you have the perfect health, but you don't have any wealth, you don't have any tools to move you into where you should really be going in the future. So combining the two is just beautiful. It's truly the best of both worlds. So that's really what we are doing this weekend, and we're just appreciative we were able to be a part of it. Now, a couple of things, and do you want to say anything about that, Ken? Of your insights, just a little bit?
No, other than I agree. I think it's a community of people that are going after both, and it's not just an avenue of one specific thing, like you said, wealth. And we're able to touch on wealth and health and point people in the right direction for longevity. It's not just about what's happening right now, but in a longevity, having that long-term mindset of how to position ourselves in both aspects.
Exactly. And we just love being a part of that because health is a very important thing to us and our community as well. But we definitely do focus on finances quite a bit more. So awesome to be a part of that. And really, when we were speaking, we were able to, after we spoke, of course, we were able to touch on a little bit of what we do, but really being able to position yourself wisely in this time period in digital assets and specifically specific cryptocurrencies, but then combining that with your true goals, where you want to go, your purpose, what is driving you, what is your purpose in life. And we were able to combine the two, and people really, like, their hearts were like, okay, I'm on fire now, because some people are ranchers, some people have a family, some people, they want to get out of debt, some people just want to build and leave a legacy. There's a lot of different individuals in the crypto space. So when you actually combine your actual purpose with your investments and your strategy, that's really where you can accelerate and move forward a lot faster. And then
Yeah.
obviously practical.
Yeah, and I will say it really is interesting, and I know I've touched on this before, but out of that room, there were probably about a handful or two handfuls of people that actually knew they had a purpose and what they were going to do with the wealth that they had, and that was coming within our investments. And I think for us, it is something very interesting to be able to help people towards that purpose, towards their calling, and pull out the vision inside people's hearts. Like you said, unlock people's potential. I think this is something drastic that we offer in this space that maybe not a lot of people do. And it's more
Yeah.
focused on being a crypto geek or learning as much as you can in a certain area. But without the purpose, without the vision, what is it?
Right.
Kind of like your health. If you don't have health, why do you have wealth when you could die tomorrow? So
Right.
these are some things that we really want to draw out. And like you said, along with the practical, we're very purpose driven, unlocking your potential, but then let's get into practical, simplified
How
steps.
you can do that.
Exactly.
Truly, like in a step-by-step manner. It doesn't have to be so complex like most people think it is. And I love that you touched on that because it truly was a handful of people. We asked two specific questions. One saying, how many of you feel very confident in your 5 to 10 year plan that your assets are secure? Handful of people rose their hand. Then, leading on that question, we asked, how many of you feel like your assets are tied and going to accelerate your purpose of where you want to go? And then, even less people raise their hand. And I think that's a different concept because what happens in the crypto space, and we see it a lot, there are amazing creators out here. But what happens is sometimes you get so sucked into the news, into, okay, you know what
Day to
asset.
day.
Yeah. You know what asset you're investing in, and you're like, yes. And then you just keep studying that asset and you keep saying, like, okay, now what's happening with it? Now where is it going? What's happening there? What news has come out? What is this, and this? And then you completely neglect the practical or the safety and security. So, or even your game plan of where you can truly take yourself within these assets. And that really is missing, I would say, half of the power of the asset because, yes, maybe you're invested, but if you don't have a game plan, you actually don't have a lot of power behind that asset. It might go up, but you don't have a lot of power or understanding of keep on investing, keep doing certain things, security, keeping it safe. And I really think this is going to be the difference in 5 years of people being super successful in this market and then people just being investors and wishing they were able to get that safety and security. So I think one of the biggest things after we spoke, quite a few people came up to us chatting with us and wanting to ask some questions. And I think the main question I asked or I got asked was people saying, well, I have this asset, I have this asset, and I have this asset, but I don't really know what to do with it. I don't have any security. I don't really have a game plan. Um, I don't know what to do with it, and I'm not tech savvy, but I know that I'm in the right thing. And I'm like, that's a great start. That's a great start. I'm glad you've already dipped your toes in. I'm glad you're invested. Now let's get some of those practical things in place. Would you say that was the same kind of questions you were getting asked, Ken?
Yeah, absolutely. And the purpose part. People came up to me specifically due to their purpose. They're like, well, I need to unlock that purpose. I want to understand what is my purpose and how can I utilize these assets to accelerate me in the right direction to leave a legacy for my family. Even I had some people tell me, hey, I have this inheritance that I got from my parents. What do I do with it? And not that I can tell you, oh, you need to do X, Y, and Z, but I can say, here's the opportunity within the space right now. Here's the generational wealth transfers that are taking place right now. If this is something that you want to partake in and be a part of, we have distilled resources, a consolidated form of distilled information that we can share with you that can help point you in that direction. So,
Exactly.
very exciting.
And the practical. So
Yeah.
let's go over a few of these questions quickly here so that people can be like, all right, I'm on this video. I have the same question. I need, I, and I'm going to ask you this, Ken, and then you tell me the steps that need to be taken simply, and then we can go in detail later on. But there's simple steps here, and I know you lay them out very, very well. And then if you can as well, give the different levels that you need to be at in order to implement that step, because not everyone needs a trust. Like I've had people come up to me and they maybe have $500 invested and they're trying to set up a trust, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, let's let's pull it back a second. And let's get some other things set up so that you can invest more, and then we can look into a trust, right? So I'm going to ask you, if I came to you and I said, I have quite a few assets. I have quite a bit of Bitcoin. I have quite a bit of XRP. I have quite a bit of H bar, and these are different cryptos. And I have all those, but I don't have anything secured. I don't really know what to do with them, and they're still on the exchange. Do I need to do something specific? Where should I go from here?
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's a great question. Just for everyone on here, we always start by saying this is not financial advice. It really isn't. You have to do your own research. You have to understand where you're coming from, because we aren't financial advisors. We're not giving you financial advice in this aspect, but we can help point you in directions that we've specifically taken, and see, hey, does this seem like the best route for you?
Yeah,
But
we
in
can show you what we do is we show you exactly what we've done to have our success and over hundreds of other individuals that have used the method as well.
Well, I would say the first thing to start with, if you have your assets on an exchange, it really is removing them from the exchange. That has been the most proven method of keeping your assets secure. Now, there's other risks that do come involved with that, but if you're doing the practical implementation steps, making sure that safety and security is the utmost importance, you will find that that is the most secure form. And why I say that is primarily because if an asset is on an exchange, you're leaving it for room in a third party account. And these third party accounts aren't insured, they're not susceptible. So I would say the most important thing is getting your crypto off an exchange. Why this is so important is because you are falling down to third party risk. And what I mean by that is that if an exchange went bankrupt, let's say they completely went bankrupt, you have your assets on the exchange, your assets are subject to them and their bankruptcy, and so they can use their assets to basically bail themselves out, whatever that looks like. Your assets are not your assets.
Yeah, so I completely agree with that. It's the best thing to do is get your assets off of an exchange. And the way I just put it simply for a lot of people is you wouldn't ever go to a grocery store, buy groceries, and then leave your groceries there. You want to take your groceries back home with you and own them. And then even when it's something way more valuable, you wouldn't do that with gold or silver. You would take it back home and you'd secure it properly, or you'd put it in a safety security box that make sure that you own it, right? And so that's the same thing you want to do with your crypto. This happened, and I'll give you guys an example of an exchange that actually collapsed back in around 2017. Mt. Gox collapsed, and people that had Bitcoin on there, other cryptocurrencies on there, they actually got their capital back. But the thing is that they got it back at the price they lost it at. So if Bitcoin was 15K and it went up to 100K, they got their capital back 5 years later. And so when Bitcoin was sitting up at 100K and they probably could have, let's say someone had 10 Bitcoin and it was sitting up at 100K, they could have had $1 million, but they had to get it back at 15K there. So you don't want to be this individual that leaves their crypto on an exchange, and there's a simplified process to actually getting it off onto a cold wallet or onto another custody platform. And we have a few different custody platforms depending on what you need and what your strategy is, right?
Yeah, and I would also say another key factor in this is not just having one exchange. I meet people on the daily that only have one exchange. Maybe that is Robinhood, you know? And we want people to have multiple entry and exit points so that you're not just subject to one exchange. Maybe it's working one day, maybe it's not. It really is that diversification in exchanges, entry and exit points, but also your custody solution. So, not just one custody solution. So, it's not just one cold wallet or this is the best option. It's no, you need to diversify. You need to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And I would say that's the most important part of safety and security.
And there's practical steps to do this. So before you say, well, that's way too much for me, I don't think I can do this. Well, first of all, if you want your assets to be secure, you don't really have an option, because this is the number one way people can lose money in crypto on an exchange. Um, and then there's some other ways, of course, which we dive into of, hey, don't ever give your money to someone and have them invest for you if it's through WhatsApp or something like that. You want to control it. So we empower all of our clients, control your own capital. We'll show you what we've done, and then you can be able to go and implement this yourself. And you want to control your capital. But what I will really say is that if you are feeling, okay, a little overwhelmed, like I'm not very tech savvy, we have a streamlined, systemized process, and it's actually very, very simple. Our average individual gets through it in a month, maybe 45 days. And so, really, really awesome stuff there. And we've seen people anywhere from 60 to 78 do this. So, I want to encourage you that this is not something that is not doable. Individuals that have had no tech savviness have been able to do this. And then my favorite thing about being able to actually secure your assets is once you've done this, you're pretty passive. You're set, you're good, you have a foundation. It's not like you have to do something every single day or every single week to keep your assets secured. It's not like that. So you
Exactly.
just want to make sure your foundation is set. Um, and that's what we're actually helping a lot of individuals from this conference do, because there's a lot of individuals that know about crypto. They came in, they got invested, but they just don't have these things set up. And it's just easy to get accelerated, do it step by step, get in, get it done, get your foundation laid, and then you're set for the next 5 years.
hmm
So
And
that's
I
what we
would
really like about this space.
And I would say once you do have that foundation set up, we've seen it time and time again to where now you're able to build. You don't want to build on a rocky foundation, you know?
Mm-mm.
And so once you have that foundation laid, then you can go to the next level. Now we can start talking about yield and other crypto opportunities and going to the next level of whatever that might look like for you. And I would say a lot of the speakers at the event did talk about, hey, next level in finance, how can we start gaining yield? How can we position ourselves in different areas to be able to capitalize on the opportunity? But before you want to capitalize on those opportunities, you want to make sure your foundation is laid and you feel confident and secure so it can't be rocked too easily.
Yes, 100%. And I would even say before appreciation happens, I think that's the biggest thing is that people aren't going to understand what the time period looks like when appreciation happens and how much they're going to almost feel like they're going to need to sell. There's going to be new regulations that come out, right? And if they don't have their assets secured and they're on an exchange that might be a little rocky, that could be a really hard season for them. And so I think we're all about preparation here. Let's just prepare. Let's make sure we're doing it right. If you truly believe in this asset, steward it wisely. And there are simplified ways to do that. So don't discount yourself or count yourself out. Um, and yeah, I would really say that's probably one of the biggest things if you are in this space and you don't have that set up that is most important for us. And we've seen give a lot of our community confidence that, oh, I'm good for 5+ years. And oh, okay, I can go to that next level. And they feel secure. So when things are a little bit rocky, they're not rocked.
And it's not just about the practical. Again, we've talked on the practical here, but it really is the mindset shift as well. When you can have a great, solid mindset in these assets and where things are going, along with a community that helps you stay emotionally volatile, I'm telling you, things can change drastically by just staying connected and plugged in and not just being fed thousands of news pieces and news articles or watching the major headlines that bypass you. When
Yep.
you
And I'm
have
just
that,
going to go back and make a little joke because you said emotionally volatile. And that's how most people are. But what she was meaning is emotionally stable in a volatile market. But being in a community, even going to this event, the Quantum Financial Summit, and being a part of Mel's group, get a part of a group. Like it doesn't have to be DAS. Get a part of someone that resonates with you, someone that's doing what you want to do, someone that is already where you want to be in their assets, in their foundation, in their structure, and going after what you want to go after. Get a part of that, connect yourself to it. It's a life force and it will actually encourage you. If we've seen this time and time again, if you're siloed out on this opportunity and you're solely trying to do everything on your own, it's going to make it really hard for you to stay focused, for you to have different observations of the market. It's going to be hard for you to gain opportunities as they come in the future. You just want to be tapped into that. I would say that's half of your success. So, no matter what community it is, find one that resonates with you and try to be a part of it and try to be consistent in that. And you'll see your investment mindset, and then you'll also see just your assets move way better, way smoother, way quicker, and then you're going to have a lot more confidence as well.
even this weekend, and I'll just leave it at this, but even this past weekend, wow, being a part of a room filled with energy and people that are wanting to grow, wanting to be in health, wanting to be in wealth, that is something that is, you don't just have all the time. And so
Yeah.
we ran into one gentleman, and it was his first conference, crypto conference, health conference, whatever. And I was like, wow, like he just found so much life in it.
And
And
he's been invested for 5 years and he's like,
he's been
this is
siloed.
amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we
He's
just
like, I wish
encourage
I would
you.
have come sooner. There's so many things I learned that I should be doing that I have been neglecting for 5 years. I'm like, wow, it's just awesome to see him see that and want to grow. And then even for us, I'll say, and then we'll close it out here, but for you and me to be around Alan Staple, to be around Stone, to be around those individuals that are
Sam.
influencers in this space and really trailblazers in the crypto space, like we all just had the best time together. And it's very encouraging when other people are moving in this space just like we are. And we can all come together and help individuals. So even us, it's like community is our number one. So
Absolutely. And we just want to, I want to close it out with this. It's like five closes or something today. But thank you to all the people that have poured into us. So it's
mhm.
like those people, Mel inviting us to come and speak at that event. It's honor, like we just feel so honored to be a part of this community and where things are going. And like you mentioned, Alan and Stone, and I mean, there's so many more people that we could thank, but it truly is community and being able to tap in these directions. So,
Absolutely.
yep.
Awesome. Well, we covered some great stuff today, and I think it's just going to help quite a few people who haven't maybe implemented some of these things before. So feel free to reach out to us through the links below if you guys have any questions on safety and security, or if you just want to chat about really your long-term vision and if you have that game plan set up with your assets. But other than that,
Links are in the bio.
links are in the bio, and we'll see you on the next one.